people. Teamwork makes the
Okay.
okay.
Jerry rig. That's a studio.
We got a-
Three-camera studio.
We got a studio in here. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Build Brand Bacon Summit. I'm super excited to be introducing the one, the only, Miss Gisele Bonds. She is a brand photographer with over 2 decades of experience in the Oakland Bay area, and she's going to talk to us about how we build our visual brands and look great and amazing on live camera. And I know you need visuals for your Instagram and your Snapchats and all these things, and we're going to talk about how you can get the best poses and look absolutely amazing and phenomenal across social media platforms, in addition to how you can look great while you live stream. So I'm super excited to have her. We're going to have her come on and do her demonstration and tutorial. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Build Brand Bacon Summit. I'm just going to move out the way and let her do her thing.
Thank you so much, Sade. I am so happy to be with you this afternoon, and I'm pleased to be able to address your audience and try to just share some of the little nuggets I have acquired through the years. As Sade has mentioned, I've owned a brick and mortar portrait studio in the Oakland Bay area for over 26 years. And additionally, my academic background is I have a bachelor's degree in advertising with a minor in marketing. So I've always been fascinated by what makes people move and what motivates them to purchase, and the whole psychology behind motivating people to action through advertising and marketing. So I feel uniquely qualified to create branded images for my clients. Now more than ever, often the first way that we meet new potential clients is online. So you need to take consideration into what is your image saying to a prospective client. And if that message is not on brand message for you, then you need to take care with that. It breaks my heart how often, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, even if you just scroll through LinkedIn, how often people are representing themselves as professionals or entrepreneurs with a selfie. A selfie is the fastest way to undermine your authority, and especially a selfie that's not well done. And I think probably the worst are the ones they clearly took in their cars and they've got a seatbelt across their bodies. Or you can see the spouse or another person's hair on their shoulder or the arm because there was another person, they've cropped out the image. And if it is that you're presenting yourself as a professional, either with products or services, and you want people to have confidence that they should invest in you, how do you begin that relationship demonstrating that you're not willing to invest in your image that you're projecting to them? So I've got a couple of signs to help you know if it's time to update your business headshot. First one being, have you had a weight change of 50 pounds or more, add or lose? If you've done a weight shift, it's time to update your executive portrait because no one's going to recognize you. If you have black hair in your executive portrait and you're currently rocking the silver highlights, it's time to get a new executive portrait. If your business headshot has hair but you are now bald, it's time to update your executive portrait. Basically, if your executive portrait business headshot is older than your car, it's time to get an update. So you may ask, well, how do I find a photographer? Well, it breaks my heart because there's so many people on the market now committing malpractice with the camera. And 26 years ago when I started in this industry, if you looked at a professional camera, it was a big old hunk of glass and a lot of metal, and you took one look at it and you knew you needed to go somewhere and learn how to use it. However, now with technology, there are computers in the cameras. You can get a set of business cards in the blink of an eye, and how difficult now is there to set up a website? So I saw a huge trend like in '08 when people were getting laid off, that people were then following their dreams to be photographers. But you want to be careful because you want someone who has studied lighting, that knows corrective posing, that does facial analysis, and actually knows how to make you look your best on camera. So in selecting a photographer, if you can't book with me, then you want to find someone with experience, and you want to go through their portfolio with a discerning eye. Make sure they're producing the types of images in the past that align with what you see for yourself. And just use good judgment and look for testimonials, because there are a lot of people out there with cameras and they haven't studied the craft. So, part of that process is they should do a consultation design with you so that they understand what your needs are. So with my clients, I want them to begin to think about all the places they need to use branded photography. Basic minimum requirement. I call that a business headshot. Every professional, at the very minimum, needs a well-lit, well-posed business headshot, because you need that on your LinkedIn. You need that for your profile picture on basic social media platforms. So at the very least, get that updated. After that, especially if you are building a brand or a business online, then you need to look at your other uses. So most of us will need some sort of imagery to go across the banner at the top of our website or our blogs. You probably need an image that works for your About Me. And your About Me may not be as tight as a headshot, so that can be the same image, or that may be something a little more expressive of your personality and your brand. After that, then you start looking at your marketing. Do you need images for a landing page for a new product or a service? Do you need images for a thank you page? Do you need images to create social media covers? Because you can customize the home page on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram. You have space to put both photographs and words. Your Facebook business page has a cover section. Do you need product mock-ups that need imagery that incorporates you? And for platforms such as Instagram, you may want to be on a regular basis creating memes that are branded to you. So you want images that have been created with empty negative space, so that there's place for graphics to be added later and calls to action. And CTAs, calls to action, are another area that you want to kind of start drafting out what you need for. And do you need things to be directional? Do you need to say subscribe here or subscribe there, depending on the platform that you are most active on, a place to present your offer. So if you and your photographer can think in advance about those sorts of needs, then you have a template for what you need to accomplish. Other things to consider are wardrobe. If you have very strong colors that are identified with your brand, then you want to look at selecting wardrobe that is consistent with that, so that when that image is added to your website, it's not clashing. So some little foresight in that. In terms of garments, I suggest that you keep it simple and solid, because especially for a business headshot and for many images, you're selling you. So you do not want high contrast patterns that are going to distract the viewer from beginning that connection with you and beginning a relationship with you. Now, throw all of that out the window if your brand is about fashion. I did a consultation with Arlene yesterday, and because she's a fashion stylist, none of that's relevant, because her brand is the fashion. So I would not select this busy print for a portrait about me selling me, because you get lost in all of this leopard, tiger, zebra deliciousness. But if you're selling fashion, then that's okay. So take those things into consideration. For my ladies, I typically recommend that you are sleeved. The way the human brain is wired, it sees skin first. So if there's a lot of arm showing, your eye and your brain goes there. And the result is, my ladies come back from their photo sessions and they go, well, my arms look fat. So cover them up, take them out of the shot, and now the focus goes here to the face and the connection that you're trying to build with your audience. So those are some basic attire considerations for you to think about in planning. And most important thing is to have that game plan. So if your photographer isn't leading you that way, then create your own worksheet so that when you go to that photographer, you know what you need and you've got an idea how many wardrobe changes and what you need to create. So, any questions around that piece? Cool. Then I will move on to some tips and strategies for live streaming. The very first step is to get your device mounted. No one wants to watch a shaky broadcast, which is what will happen if you're trying to hand hold in your hand. You're going to start moving around. It also means that your hand is not free to participate. I talk with my hands. You may want to pick up items for visual aids. So if you want a good mount, I recommend Archon. You can find them at ARKON, and they create a wide variety of mounts that support live broadcasters. This one's very cool. It's got suction cup on it so it can go on a wall or a window, and then your phone slides in there. This is my baby. It goes everywhere with me. It's a tripod with bendable legs, so you can wrap this puppy around things to secure it, and it keeps you nice and stable. I also have here on hand a support for a tablet or an iPad. So this is great for getting that iPad stable, and it's got a little pivot on it so you can control the angle. So those are available at ARKON.com. If you use the discount code BAYBIZ, you will get a discount. Minimum 10%. It goes up different times of the year. Aaron adjusts that. So get your device stable. The next thing you want to start thinking about is your scope set, where you're broadcasting from. And actually, let me go back. Before you're set, let's talk about camera height. Drives me nuts how many people, and I know that it's because we're used to working with the tabletop, but what that creates is a very low camera angle, and I go and broadcast so often, and the camera is positioned such that the viewer is looking up the broadcaster's nose. So you really want to do your best to get your camera high, at least eye level, so that your viewer is looking at you and they're able to make better contact with your eyes. You get the feeling that that person's looking down at you like they're more important than you are with those camera angles, and as I said, it's not flattering. So try to get your device as close to eye level as possible. Then let's talk about your scope set. You want to make sure it's an environment that's clear of distractions. If you have items in your background, be intentional about what is there to support it. For me, because I am a portrait photographer, when I create scope sets either in my home or at my portrait studio, I strategically make sure there are portraits in the background. So there's a subtle message reinforcing my brand and what I do. So just be very intentional about that. I personally like to have depth. If I was designing this specifically for broadcast, I wouldn't pick a set with just a flat wall. So I want some items, I want some depth and foreground, some interest. I also choose not to frame my broadcast just like filling my face with the camera. Some people want to do that because they feel like it's more personal, so that's completely up to you. But for me, I design my scope set as if it's my television show. And usually with a talk show program, you will see, something in the foreground. Maybe it's a tabletop, and then the host, and then there's usually something going on. So if you can create some depth and pull back a little bit, it will look more like a show versus the talking head that people get accustomed to, say like on YouTube tutorials where it's just the face. So think about how you can reinforce your brand, either your product or your name. You can also do things with your attire, like Chelsea was speaking last evening about. She's going to order some t-shirts with her logo. I think it should be an apron. Since you are in the chocolatiering business, then you will always just subtly be reinforcing your brand because it's in your apparel. The other thing that I recommend that you have on set is a beverage, because when you're broadcasting, your mouth will get dry, and you don't want to be like the congressman who is suddenly fumbling for hydration. So I keep sippy cup handy. So keep your hydration handy. And let's talk a little bit about lighting. You want to be well lit in your broadcasts. So start to train yourself to look for where light is coming from. If you have an open window in your room, perfect. And if you can position yourself such that that window light is evenly lighting you, go for it. That's the most beautiful light you're going to get. If you don't have the luxury of that window or being able to broadcast while the sun is up, then you're going to start working with artificial light. Yes, there's lots of lighting you can buy and spend money on, but it's really not necessary. You just need a soft light source. When I'm at home, I simply take the lampshade off of a lamp across the room from me that is at least eye level or higher, because you don't want to have your light source come from below you. In photography, we call that horror movie lighting. It's the type of lighting they would put in a scary movie to make you look ominous. So if you're using a small light source, make sure it is not below your face. You want that light source to be at eye level or higher. And it does not have to be expensive. So just do a check with your camera. I mean, when we're doing broadcasts from our phones and iPads, we have the luxury of flipping it to selfie mode, and you can play with until you find light that is flattering. If it's coming too far from the side and you see that half of your face is in shadow, reposition yourself or your light around so that you're evenly lit and that's not a distraction. Okay? And we took care of the clutter, the lighting, camera position. Let me just double check my notes. I don't want to skip anything. So that's basically what I had for you, just in terms of making sure you're looking your best on camera in a live broadcast.
Thank you so much to Gisele Bonds. Give us a round of applause. And just a sneak peek, tell us about your freebie, so how we can stay connected to you.
Okay, so you can find my work at positiveimages.biz, and although I am based in the Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area, I do travel. We're in Las Vegas now. I've got some upcoming openings in New York, and we're solidifying some dates in Georgia. If you are interested in me coming to you and you're not in one of those cities and you want to talk about me coming to you, let's chat. You can reach me at info@positiveimages.biz.
And Gisele has a freebie for our audience, and what is that going to be?
I am going to send you a nice little PDF, or maybe it'll be a video, but it will cover some of the tips and strategies that can help you elevate your broadcast game.
Thank you so much, ladies, and we'll see you in the next broadcast. Have a great day.